When discussion turns to the most beautiful sets ever issued, the 1957 Topps baseball cards always feature heavily into conversation. With bright, clear photos and minimal design elements, there is nothing to distract collectors from the grandeur of the game and its denizens. And whether or not you love the 1957s or think they're overrated, in which case you're wrong, there is no denying their continued appeal and strength in the old card market. What follows is a rundown of the 12 most valuable 1957 Topps baseball cards, as culled from PSA 7 copies from the PSA Sports Market Report Price Guide. 1957 Topps Mickey Mantle, number 95. Against a dark Yankee Stadium background, Mantle stands out like a ghost in a spotlight as he follows through on his left-handed swing in his Yanks pinstripes here on this 1957 Topps card. And a spotlight would have been a fitting device for the young slugger, who had enjoyed perhaps his greatest season in 1956, winning the American League Triple Crown and MVP award, and driving the Yanks to yet another World Series title. Just like about every other Mantle card issued in the 1950s, this one paces the set, with a $1,250 price tag in PSA 7 condition. 1957 Topps Brooks Robinson rookie card, number 328. What do you get when you combine one of the greatest players ever at his position, an all-time classic card design, and a rookie card in a scarce high number series? Why, you get the 1957 Topps Brooks rookie card, of course. And you also get one of the most valuable cards in the whole set, a status this card has held for decades. These days, the rookie card of the Hall of Famer and Baltimore Orioles legend generally fetches $800 or more in graded near mint condition. 1957 Topps Frank Robinson rookie card, number 35. This card may be even better looking than the B. Robbie above, or that could just be my Cincinnati Reds bias showing through. Whatever the case, there is no denying that Frank Robinson was one of the most dominant hitters of his time and probably in the top 10 or better of plate men of all time. He was also the focal point of one of the worst/best trades in history when the Reds sent him to the Orioles before the 1966 season because he was an old 30. A Triple Crown, MVP, and World Series MVP later, and it was clear that F. Robbie was headed to Cooperstown. His rookie card sells today for around $600 in PSA 7. 1957 Topps Ted Williams, number 1. Speaking of old dudes who could still rake, Ted Williams was 39 in August of 1957. It was amazing that he could still tie his shoes at such an advanced age, right? All the splendid Splinter did that summer was hit .388 with 38 home runs for the Boston Red Sox. That was good enough for his 5th batting title. And he'd win another in 1958. It's all part of the glory of Ted ballgame, and part of the reason his striking 1957 Topps card, the first in the set, sells for $500 or more in PSA 7. 1957 Topps Yankees power hitters, Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra, number 407. From the number 1 card in the 1957 Topps set, we now jump to the very end of the run. Mickey Mantle and teammate Yankee catcher Yogi Berra were a threat to go deep every time they stepped to the plate, and they seemingly had the American League MVP award on lockdown during the 1950s, with Berra nabbing 3, 1951, 1954, 1955, and Mantle taking the 1956 and 1957 hardware. Appearing here at the very end of a tough high-number run, the pinstripe pair formed the basis of another $500 card in PSA 7. 1957 Topps Sandy Koufax, number 302. Koufax was still several years from breaking out when this smiling shot of the young southpaw greeted collectors in the summer of 1957. By the time he became a legend for the Los Angeles Dodgers, this classic must have twinged some painful memories for the faithful back home, owing to its Brooklyn team designation. Today, this early career beauty pushes $500 in PSA 7. 1957 Topps Willie Mays, number 10. Willie Mays, on the other hand, was a bona fide superstar as 1957 dawned. He already had a National League Rookie of the Year award in 1951, a National League MVP award in 1954, and a 50 home run season in 1955 under his belt, and Topps rewarded him with the coveted number 10 slot in their 1957 set. I'm not kidding. The zero cards were a big thing, especially in early sets. Of course, the Say Hey Kid was on a collision course with all-time greatness, and this card reflects that status at about $300 in PSA 7. 1957 Topps Hank Aaron, number 20. Pretty much the same story here for Aaron as it was for Mays, except Henry wouldn't win his only MVP award until that summer of 1957, and he never did top 50 home runs in a season. And back in 1957, probably not many fans would have predicted that it would be Aaron who would go on to break Babe Ruth's all-time home run record. That kind of talk was reserved for Mantle and Mays, maybe Duke Snider if you were silly. Anyway, Aaron may have been the best of the lot when all was said and done, and this card reflects that status at about $350 in PSA 7. 1957 Topps Don Drysdale, rookie card, number 18. Drysdale was just 20 years old, headed into the 1957 season, and fresh off a 25-game Major League debut in 1956 that saw him go 5-5 with a 2.64 ERA. A jump to 17-9 in 1957 set up Drysdale as one of the first stars for the Los Angeles Dodgers when they moved west in 1958. Though it took him a few years to really settle in as a superstar, Big D eventually won enough games to garner enough of the spotlight to put together a Hall of Fame career. His smiling rookie card here in the 1957 Topps set is a $300 or so item in PSA 7. 1957 Topps Roberto Clemente, number 76. Like others on this list, Clemente was still a few years away from superstardom when his smiling 1957 Topps card first found its way into collectors' hands. Still, he was already a regular for the Pittsburgh Pirates at just 22 years of age, and the future looked bright for Bob, as Topps insisted on calling him in those days. The decades have been kind to the Bucs legend, and Clemente has never been more popular than he is today, making his 1957 card a $275 plus buy in graded near mint condition. 1957 Topps Dodger Sluggers, number 400. How many Dodger Sluggers did it take to match the Yankees' duel of Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra? 4 apparently, at least according to card number 400 in the 1957 Topps set. Even if that seems like overkill, it makes for a great card, as Carl Furillo, Gil Hodges, Roy Campanella, and Duke Snider do the old kneel with a bat trick on the horizontal issue. It's a star-packed card with plenty of Cooperstown power, and it clocks in at around $200 in PSA 7 condition. 1957 Topps Yogi Berra, number 2. Mickey Mantle topped this list with his own single card. Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra made the cut with their duo card. So it stands to reason that probably the greatest catcher of the 1950s makes this list on his own merits, or the merits of a solo card too, right? Right. And Berra powers in here in the last slot on the strength of sales, around $150 in PSA 7 copies. Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel. WaxPackGods.com